Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the NAIAFBALL live show powered by AdCraft Custom Apparel and Merch, your custom apparel, merch, and uniform experts since 1974. I am Corey Thorpe. I think Matt is coming along a little later. If he does, we'll bring him right on in, but otherwise, we'll go ahead and get to the getting. We had a lot of great games this weekend despite all the byes. But we go ahead and do this so that I can see any of the comments that y'all leave me. Let's get to the getting. First off, a massive game in the Mid-South Conference. Georgetown takes down the Bethel Wildcats 52-24 in a game that was never really that close. Georgetown got out to a huge lead. And I tell you, that's not quite right. It was actually two completions for Garrick Sluneker for 13 yards. Apologize on that one. Did not get that updated. Two completions for 13 yards and an interception. But it didn't matter for Garrick because he had Darius Neal. 22 attempts, 180 yards, 3 scores. Absolutely a great job defensively. 4 sacks, 5 tackles for loss. Forced fumble, 2 interceptions. Garrig, hopefully not Goathead. Garrig Sluneker, the quarterback. You know, and Bethel didn't play terrible. Joaquin Collazo, 18 of 29 for 232, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. J.D. Dixon, 7 receptions, 100 yards. Normally, 11 penalties for 95 yards is not too much of a big deal. Well, it was when Georgetown barely got penalized at all. Just a great matchup, or a great game for Georgetown bouncing back. Georgetown had fallen on a bit of hard times losing to Reinhardt in Waleska and is able to bounce back against Bethel in a big way. That was a big, big win for the Tigers. But that wasn't the only upset, as Midland holds off the rushing attack of Dordt, gets a 10-7 victory. Look, Midland was just good enough. 15 of 23, a $127 and 2 picks for Garrison Beach. Tyson Dankert ran for 125 yards on 27 attempts, and they were just efficient enough. 47%, 9 of 19 on 3rd and 4th down conversions. Dort's defense did everything they could to keep them in the game. 2 forced fumbles, 2 picks, 10 tackles for loss, 7 sacks. Colton Cruz was just not able to be quite efficient enough. 10 of 22 for a $119, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, 57 rushing yards, the leading rusher on the team. When you're able to hold Dordt to 57 rushing yards for their leading rusher and 8 attempts on 39 yards for their running back, you're going to have a chance. Midland did a fantastic job, was able to get it done against Dordt, and maybe see if they can salvage a bit of their season here. But wait, there's more. Cumberland on the 170th or 107th anniversary of 222-0 upsets receiving votes. Cumberland's did it on the back of Luke Holloway's 2 rushing touchdown performance, 89 rushing yards, 2 scores, 11 of 25 for 92 yards through the air. Traylon Shepard, 12 attempts, a $146 and a touchdown. Wasn't a whole lot to separate these two squads. You see the 3 turnovers there that Cumberland University, Cumberland of Tennessee, was able to force there, giving them the ball just a couple more times more. And you see University of the Cumberlands of Kentucky just was not able to get anything going through the air. 6 of 15 for 68 yards. Darius James was good, 4 yards per carry, 25 attempts for 109 yards, but just not able to convert on third and fourth down. 6 of 20, 30% on the day. Another one of the matchups that we were looking forward to, Montana Western and Montana Tech. Montana Western pulls the upset 38-28. And I'm going to tell you, Western controlled that game. Michael Palindrini, 19 of 27, 224, and a score. Pete Gibson at running back, 11 attempts, 102 yards. Can't leave out Jake Humphrey, 16 attempts for 98 yards and a score. When you have two running backs that run 28 attempts for exactly 200 yards, you're going to be all right. That means you controlled the ball, controlled the clock. And it shows it there. Montana Tech's defense allowed 64% on third and fourth down conversions. Montana Western was just able to stay on the field. That's what won them the game. Montana Tech drops to 4-2. Western still has the one loss. The Frontier, just as crazy as ever, because Southern Oregon at 2-3 upsets Rocky Mountain 3-3. They're a 23-5 victory. Yeah, I like a safety every now and again. Southern Oregon, Blake Asciuto did not have the greatest game. Not at all. 3 picks, 8 of 22, but Isaiah Hidalgo and Avery, I'm not even going to attempt that. Maybe I will. Avery McCaig? I don't know. Looks Welsh. I can't do Welsh very well. Combined for 32 attempts and 280 yards and 3 scores. Again, I tell you, you get 280 yards out of 2 backs, it's going to be all right. You're probably going to win. You're going to control the clock, control the game. Luke Holcomb was 18 of 38 for 188 yards, just could not find the end zone. Joseph Dwyer, the preferred receiver there, had 129 of those yards on half of the completions. And not that it would have meant anything, but if you change all of those to touchdowns, that's a 23-21 game, and it's a heck of a lot closer. Rocky Mountain just was not able to get into the red zone, and when they did get there, it was 3, not 7. Southern Oregon, despite being 2-3, is a good squad. They've put fear into a lot of teams this year, including the aforementioned Montana Western. This is a team to watch the rest of the season down the stretch, as they may be putting it together at the right time to really make life difficult for the other Frontier teams. Stephen, I always love seeing your posts there. I don't think I've got any Sooner stuff today in terms of previews or reviews, but we'll definitely talk about some teams that are doing well in the Sooner. But down south in Florida, we wondered who was going to emerge in this game, Kaiser or St. Thomas. The Seahawks get out, and they hold off St. Thomas on their comeback. Nothing doing for St. Thomas. Kaiser wins this again. Bryce Veasley was so good. 151 yards on 10 of 13 passes. 2 touchdowns. Jaden Meisinger, 25 attempts for 90 yards. Kaiser holds the ball for 33 minutes in this ball game. Keely Watson for St. Thomas, not great. 12 of 33 for 158 yards. Rontavious Farmer is held in check by the Kaiser defense, 19 attempts, 73 yards. And the St. Thomas offense just is not able to get going. 4 of 16 on third and fourth down conversions. Going to the Midwest in the final recap here. A upset in the Mid-States Midwest. Roosevelt wins 28-24 off of Tyler Tenner's 27 attempts for 108 yards, 3 touchdowns. Carson Budke, 21 of 37 for 254, a touchdown and a pick, and the offense did what it needed to do when it got inside the 20. 3 of 3 with 3 touchdowns. Raja, I asked the same question. How do you keep the ball 33 minutes with 10 completions and a 90-yard rusher? The only answer I have for that is you play really, really fast. As they like to say in South Florida, maybe you play Seahawk fast. Sam Tumulty was quite good, 24 of 44 for 375, 3 touchdowns and an interception. But the thing that Roosevelt was able to do in this game was to keep Tumulty in the pocket, force him to pass, keep Sam from using his legs. And that's exactly how they beat them. Now, Joey Tumulty, yes, again, 8 receptions for $196 and a touchdown. Did have a really good game. Had a very, very good game. But when you are able to keep Sam Tumulty in the pocket, you stand a better chance of winning the ballgame. And, of course, St. Francis only able to get into the red zone twice. Had 1 touchdown on those 2 attempts. Next, we're going to look at the top 25 media poll, and thanks so much to Connor Darnell Designs for that, for doing the great work on that. The top 25 and the what to watch for. Let's take a look and see what we've got. A lot of movement overall. A couple things I'm going to point out here. Morningside now tied for third with Indiana Wesleyan. With the upsets that we had, there was a lot of rejiggering of the poll, a lot of untying happened that had occurred over the weeks. And that caused a lot of movement for good or ill. Obviously, Montana Western shoots up the poll, goes up 11 spots. Southwestern, Concordia, Louisiana Christian all gain 4 spots. This is what happens when you're still undefeated and we're past the midway point, and some of those top-ranked teams lose. College of Idaho goes up 3 spots. Georgetown jumps back up. You remember they lost 6 places last time. Well, they gained 10 back this time. Bethel loses 11, slots them underneath Georgetown. Think that's a great spot for them. Montana Tech, that should be down 8, not plus 8. Sorry about that. Texas Wesleyan, a real victim in all of this rejiggering, loses 3 spots. Dort loses 12 spots off the loss. Dickinson State, another victim of the reshuffling. Mid-American Nazarene comes into the poll at 25. So, with that, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back after this word from our friends at AdCraft.
So you want to create and sell custom merch for your team or business. That's exciting, but where do you begin? How much inventory should you order? How do you distribute orders? AdCraft has your answers. Streamline the way you offer custom merch by utilizing our risk-free web store service. We ship directly to each customer, and we have the fastest turnaround in the game. Raise funds for your team or get merch to your employees and patrons. Contact AdCraft today, and let's bring your merch to life.
They are certainly the best at that. And we're going to pull up real quick. Just got our play of the week in. Going to get that set up for you guys here so that I can get it going. Have a little rejiggering going ourselves, obviously. As I put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Yeah, check AdCraft out. There's so much money that they have been able to earn, folks, through their web stores. We just saw the numbers today in the month of September. AdCraft customers raised $27,159 just through web store fundraising alone. So if you want to get your fans your merch, you got to go through AdCraft. It's the best way to do it. Thanks to our friends at Telemetry Sports, who every week are bringing us our play of the week. This week, it's going to be Cody Mosier from Northwestern, who is going to, he had 2 picks on the day, including this one. Well, did play just a second ago. Why are we not? Of course, the power of live TV. All right. Was Cody Mosier an 86-yard pick 6? Does the job for Cody, and I am going to try to get everything where I need it to be. And do some live redoing here. So bear with me as we get this done right. All right, here we go. Got it ready to rock and roll. Let's have a look. Gets it at about the 14-yard line. This is the largest acceleration we've seen Gerald Monroe had hit 14, but Cody Mosier, the quickest player we've seen so far this season, runs a total of 117 yards just to get the 80-some odd that he needed to get to the end zone. And a huge play there for Northwestern in their win. Now let's take a look at what to watch for. Again, thanks so much to Connor Darnell Designs for putting all of this together. We've got a heck of a slate this week, and I was hoping Matt could pop on here to talk about that second matchup. But let's go through it. Bethel with a last out-of-conference game. That's going to be a really good one. Bethel coming off that heartbreaking loss to Georgetown. Roosevelt coming off the upset win of St. Xavier. What happens here? Can Bethel get back on the horse? Can Roosevelt continue to play upset alert here? That's going to be a good question. Morningside at Dakota Wesleyan. This is one of the bigger games that Morningside's had all season thus far, and that was not exactly the way they thought it was going to happen at the beginning of the season. Dakota Wesleyan, a one-loss team, looking to see if they can put their name up on the map there. After beating Morningside, again, we talked about it last week with Matt, that with Morningside and Dakota Wesleyan, you never know. Sometimes Dakota Wesleyan can get up there and punch Morningside in the mouth. Marion travels to Ann Arbor and plays Concordia, the Cardinals, the first in the kind of back half of the season gauntlet of the Mid-States, Mid-East, where Marion, Concordia, Siena Heights even, St. Francis, and Indiana Wesleyan will play each other pretty much back to back to back to back. We'll always have a good game here from the now to the end of the season in the Mid-East. This really kicks it off in earnest. Marion at Concordia. I'm really looking forward to watching this game. Concordia has been a scrappy team this year. Thought they were going to do really, really well this year. Marion is coming into their own. Zach Bundelow setting program records now for career marks. One more rushing touchdown, and he'll have that one too. Rushing touchdowns by a quarterback. Gets it in, I believe, yardage and/or touchdowns, passing touchdowns this last week. Roger, you feel free to correct me in the comments. That one's going to be a good one. Really looking forward to that. Southwestern goes and plays at Friends. This is one that could Look, if you lose this one for Southwestern, it'll be okay. You don't want it. You don't want that loss, but you've got a nice, you've got a little bit of a cushion now being undefeated at this juncture. Chris Weiner checking in for Baker versus Mid-American Nazarene. That's one I didn't anticipate seeing a what to watch for until I put it together, saw it, and went, oh, that's going to be a good one. Mid-American Nazarene, an up-and-coming team. Baker, the traditional team with the new coach and the new attitude. Interested to see how this one plays out. And then, would it be football in the NAIA if we didn't have a what to watch for Frontier Conference game? This week, it's Montana Western, fresh off that upset, playing host to Receiving Votes Rocky Mountain, fresh off getting upset. How will that balance play in? Can Montana Western keep up the energy for another game? Can Rocky Mountain bounce back, licking their wounds? I tell you, it's going to be a good game. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. And seeing as these start to shake out, obviously, this upcoming week being week 7, starting next week, we're going to start to be looking at who can clinch. Yeah, it's already that time. I know, it's crazy. Who can clinch when? Starting to look at bubbles and starting to look at the playoffs. For those who don't know, playoffs this year are different. 20 teams get in. The top 13 or the top 12 will have opening round buys. The bottom 8 will slug it out for the right to join a total field of 16. And then we'll go single elimination, obviously, from that point forward. It's going to be really interesting. You see what's happening in Major League Baseball right now, where a lot of the really good teams, after having a large amount of time off, are really struggling the last couple of years against these wild card teams who have played straight through. Will the bye be a blessing or a curse? We are yet to see. I don't know to give you an answer, because usually a bye is a good thing, especially in football, to get you rested up. But I also figure to be a good thing in baseball. But apparently baseball needs a little more mojo. But that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. First time for the NAIA with a 20-team playoff. So let's go through my favorite part. The guys that never let us down, unlike my Atlanta Braves, who are currently letting me down. That is our patrons. Week in, week out, they're the best. They are. Let's go from the bottom. Dustin Wilkie, Zach Ryer, Jason Crawford, Ryan, Dylan Gonzalez, Nathan Moore, Dale Norton, Tim Burrow, Julie Lout, Stephen Cutler, Nate Soapbeer, Julianne Shager, Brian Shake, Steve Speakman, Justin Hoffman, Tyler Pierce, Kyle Gregory, Hayden Ferrigno, Nick Ryan, Marty Seabolt, Ace Wellen, Jerry Quickle, Fred Christensen, Shirley Labella, Jeremy Vauble, Roger Meyer, Bob Boone, and DSU Cone. If y'all have any other comments, just leave them there in the comment section. This is the perfect time to drop those in. Yeah, look at that. Matt deciding to get in. Let's bring in the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Schwartzler, coming in here at the end to get it going. Dude, I bet you are ecstatic about this Morningside game coming up.
Sure am. I mean, come on now. This is like the biggest game of the year for them. And they're 5-1. They're literally third place in the conference right now. Can't go wrong.
Got a lot of good matchups. We saw a lot of, can you believe there were that many upsets? It's like everything except for Kaiser St. Thomas was an upset on that slate.
Pretty much. Yeah, baffling is a good way to put it.
And we'll go back here real quick to the what to watch for. There's some good games I want to grab your take on, obviously. Bethel Roosevelt is an intriguing matchup, especially now with Roosevelt pulling that upset over St. Xavier.
Yeah, Roosevelt is a really good football team. I feel like they do this to us every year where they kind of creep into the top 25. Um, they get off to a pretty solid start and then they just slowly work their way in there. And obviously, a Bethel team that is proven that they are mortal. Obviously, thought very highly of this Bethel team, and they're still very good. But Georgetown beating them down the way that they did was pretty unexpected. I'm not going to lie. So this is a team that is very beatable in its current state.
Another one that there's two games there that I'm like, oh man, these are going to be absolute wars, and that's Marion Concordia and Baker Mid American Nazarene. They're close in ranking. They have long-standing histories. Just gonna be a couple great games.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. I'm really excited for Concordia at Marion because I think this Concordia team is extremely legit, and they get to prove it.
We finally might get our predictions to come true, Matt. That Concordia is who we thought they were.
Yeah, might finally get it.
We'll have to see. But for more, we'll just all have to wait until Thursday. We get Grandview Culver Stockton. We get a little Thursday action. Can't wait for that. Got the Grandview background to celebrate a little Thursday football. But then we get that full slate on Saturday. And it's starting to get dark at 7, and it's got in the 40s here yesterday in Florida, and that means it's football season. For real this time. This is the stretch run here. We'll start to see my playoff beard coming in as it'll be time to go.
Cannot wait.
Absolutely. So for Matt Schwartzler, I am Corey Thorpe, and we will see y'all next week.